This one's played on Heavy Rain, Gold League match between two Gold League players. As you can play in a league above your actual league, but never a league below. That's how we do things here at Chobo Team League. So, switching back over, head right into that game. So, spawning in the upper left location here on Heavy Rain, we have playing as our pink Zerk player, Puppy, for LA eSports. And spawning in the lower right, we have playing as our purple Protoss player for StratK Gaming, Equilibrium. So we see the typical scouting overlord headed across the map for Puppy. Looks to be on a path to go right over the main base rather than just the metro. And first pylon on the low ground, and the probe who left it moving across. Could well be a cannon rush if he sees the opportunity for it. Anyway, the overlord sees the probe, but the probe's going to be in there pretty quick. Probe looking through the Zerg base finds nothing but drones. No surprise at this point in the game. At the very least, confirms no 6 pool. Always a good thing to confirm. Takes a few hits from this drone chasing it around. Looks like we're gonna see a hatch first out of Puppy. In the meantime, back on the other side of the map for a Protoss player, we actually see Nexus first. Now a Forge being added. And a third hatch coming down. That's 3 hatch before pool. So, it's about as greedy as we got from both players. We got Nexus first, we got 3 hatch before pool. Greed, greed, greed. All sides of the map. Probe's still hanging out. Looks like it's finally been cornered by this drone, though. That is our first kill of the game. Poor Probe. Never knew what it would do. Stuck in a corner. Anyway, we do have that spawning pool on the way for Puppy. And the first gateway on the way for Equilibrium. Performing a nice wall off at his second base. No gas yet out of Puppy, so no tech at all. Just that spawning pool, and drones and drones, and 3 hatches. First Queen's on the way. And first Zealot about to finish up. Cybercore finally now done for Equilibrium, who also has taken his first 2 gases. Warp Gate being chronoed out. Roach Warren on the way for Puppy. And lots of drones. Lots and lots of drones. However, what's interesting is at this point there's actually a mild pro lead for Equilibrium, so he's been probing pretty hard, while Puppy's been droning pretty hard, and the third hatch is just, you know, starting to come into effect really. First Zealot and Stalker coming in to poke at that third base. Zealot is going to get at least one drone. There's two. Queen trying to run for the moment. These two queens can fight this off, but that one queen alone couldn't. The rest of the drones heading into the natural. But that hatchery is in no real danger, these two queens. And now two roaches. Easily able to handle this. Yep, Zealot goes down. Stalker goes down. And pretty much a free donation of units. Although not completely free, to get a few drones. Probe heading across to make a sneaky pylon out in the corner. +1 weapons on the way, and a lot more Zealots and a Stalker. Stargate also on the way for Equilibrium. Stargate being his tech choice, I guess. And these Zealots heading out across the map, perhaps going towards that pylon. Stalker getting this Overlord out of the base. Probably won't kill it, but it'll at least get it out of base. Might kill it, actually. Yeah, it looks like it will. Yeah, I see it's on the high ground. The Overlord does survive. That's a lot of Zealots, though. Although we have +1/+1 on the way for Puppy down there. You don't have all that. Well, that's a good number of roaches. You can probably hold this. A few more roaches on the way. Taking his other 4 gases to finish up his gas count. Getting a bit of a bank going. And there goes that bank. So we do have a pretty good force coming up here for Equilibrium, including one Void Ray. But I'm not sure how good that's going to do. Because one Void Ray isn't going to do much with a few queens, and that's a good amount of roaches. So this force is going to come in for this attack, and we'll see how it goes. Puppy doesn't see it right away. The roach is just kind of standing there. Oh, that queen's going to go down to that Void Ray, and that's going to make this attack a lot worse. Another Void Ray coming in. Force field's being mostly ineffectual, but those roaches know that those Void Rays will just immediately tear them apart, so they retreat for the moment. Kiting these Zealots, hitting a few Zealots, but that third base is no longer there. They are able to get these Zealots pretty well. A number of Spore Crawlers coming up at the natural. Looks like our Protoss player is going to finish sniping off this base entire and then back off. The drones still being rallied over there, finally fixed. As this force does indeed try to move into the natural. Puppy being supply blocked for the moment and lost a few overlords. But he does have Hydras out now, and this force should be able to easily clean up Equilibrium force. Not sure why he's not sending over his queens though. In any case, that force is cleaned up. And Puppy's going to move across with what he's got left, which is a lot of roaches and a small number of Hydras. Back home we see a Robo Bay coming up for Equilibrium. And really, he doesn't have that much other than those 2 Void Rays. But those 2 Void Rays, with only 4 Hydras, those 2 Void Rays will probably hold against this on their own pretty much. Might lose most of his forces to the Roaches, but we got these Roaches continuing to kind of kite at that wall. They're going to get that gate open. Photon Overcharge going down. Holds back the force for a bit. Long enough for more Hydras to come join the party. That is a lot of Hydras. Like we see, almost entirely pure Hydra now coming out of Puppy's production. 6 more just about to pop. 2-2 also on the way. This was played before the Hydra buff, so do keep that in mind a little bit, but that many Hydras is still pretty dangerous. Plus 10 attack speed, plus 10% attack speed or more. Now these guys are coming in, another Photon Overcharge goes off. They do snipe off this gateway. Might get the Cyber Core as well. No, they back off before finishing the Cyber Core. Waiting for that Photon Overcharge to finish. In the meantime, rather than having retaken this third, he's actually got a third up over here. A small number of Zealots being warped in at one of these many forward pylons to try to do some harass, but all they really accomplish is finishing off that useless extractor. Now Puppy is retaking his original third. Now sort of be a fourth. And otherwise just continues to build an army of lots and lots of Hydras. Grooved spines now finally being added onto them as well. Looks like he might use that for something of a timing. In the meantime, we have these guys going over and finding at least one of the warp-in pylons. Not sure if they'll find the other one, but they might figure that that was the only one. There's 3 more hiding back there. Anyway, we see a probe coming in for a scout. As the probe indeed confirms that base coming up. Well, it has been up for a while. And so, a sizable force coming across the map from Equilibrium, and a sizable force about to possibly find it from Puppy. This positioning. So this force is actually past Puppy's force and gets to attack the base first, but this Zerg force is right in position to counter, and there's way too much Zerg here, not nearly enough Protoss. There's no AoE, there's no way that this force can really deal with a force composed mostly of Hydras. And that continues to be the case back home as we see Equilibrium mostly going for a few Immortals and Void Rays. I don't think he has a Robotics Bay yet. Yeah, so yeah, there's no way he's getting AoE, and AoE is what he needs because he's dealing with Hydras. So this third base, it's going to finish, which is a bad thing for Equilibrium because it means it gets sniped. And that's a ton of minerals that he otherwise could have saved at least a lot of by canceling. So lucky timing on Puppy's part. And I don't think he's got anything that can deal with this army here. He's got, yeah, that cannot deal with this army at all. His force here, not enough. We're going to see good game. That's it. Puppy taking one for ally. So it brings our total to 1-1.